Hello everybody, today we're going to be going over your first frost forecast for the entire United States. I'm going to be talking about when I expect you guys to see your first frost this fall or winter, and we're going to be talking about why I also think that based on my previous predictions on how this fall and winter will go. I'm going to show you the average first frost time and then also whether I expect it to be earlier or later than your normal frost time or early or first frost time. So here is my current average frost first frost map, and I'm using NOAA data, and I've just made my own map based off that NOAA data, and then we're gonna talk about what each different little color means in right now. So let's get right into it here. So here is the September 1st or earlier area, and this is where, again, you expect your first frost to be before September 1st. So this is technically still in the summertime when you're expecting your first frost, and this is mainly for the higher elevations of Oregon, parts of northeastern Nevada, also into parts of Utah, Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho again, and also for parts of Colorado there, mainly in the higher elevations. I tried to outline basically where the higher elevations are. Of course, I can't get every single little mountaintop, but generally this is where you expect your earliest frost to be about September 1st or earlier on average. Now, here is your September 1st to 30th area in this pink region that extends all the way from the interior northwest into parts of the Rockies, and then also areas east of the Rockies into the northern plains, into the northern Great Lakes, and then also for parts in the interior northeast. You expect your first frost to be between September 1st and September 30th. Now, here is this area in this purple area where you expect your first frost to be between October 1st and October 15th. So this area includes parts of Nevada, also a little bit of Washington there, and then also for parts of Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and then into the panhandle of Oklahoma, and then through parts of the central part of the country, into the lower Great Lakes, and then throughout parts of the Appalachians, and then for the rest of the Northeast there, seeing your first frost between October 1st and 15th. Now, here in this lighter pink region, this is where you expect your first frost on average to be between October 16th and October 30th. This is for parts of the coastal Northwest, as well as parts of southern Arizona, southern New Mexico, parts of northwest Texas, into parts of the southern plains, as well as parts of the western Tennessee Valley, into parts just south of the Appalachian Mountains there, and then also for parts in the Carolinas, and also into the Mid Atlantic, except for parts of the coastal Mid Atlantic there. Now, in this blue region, this is where you expect your first frost to be between November 1st and November 15th. So this is a little bit later on in the time period, and you are expecting that for parts in Southern California, the mountains in Southern California do expect it. Even some mountaintops in Southern California can expect it a little bit earlier than that. Also, for in parts of Nevada, as well as parts of Arizona, into parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, through the Panhandle, Florida, into Georgia, and then parts into South and North Carolina, especially the coastal areas of both of those states there. Now, here in this green shade, for parts of California, Nevada, Arizona, Texas, coastal Louisiana, coastal Alabama, and Mississippi, as well as parts of northern Florida. This is where you expect your first frost to be between November 16th and November 30th here, and this is nearing almost the winter time by this point. And this is when really it's kind of hit and miss. Most of these areas in this green shade get a frost at some point in the winter or in the late fall. But as you get into this yellow period, in this yellow little shade here, this is where sometimes you don't even see a frost in some of these areas for the winter. Most winters you see a very weak frost, but most some winters you don't even see a frost. If you do see a frost, on average, it's between December 1st and 31st throughout these regions, and that's including the rest of Southern California as well as southwestern Arizona, into parts of southern Texas, southern Louisiana, and central Florida there, where your average first frost is between December 1st and December 31st. Now, We also have a rare or no freeze over these parts in extreme southern Texas and extreme southern Florida there, where you rarely ever see a frost or freeze. It's a very rare experience, and it's also not very likely. So on average, you really don't see a frost. Some winters, every once in a while, you will see your temperatures fall to about 32 degrees or so, but it is, again, very, very rare for these areas in southern Florida and also for southernmost Texas there. Now, I want to show, this is my fall forecast here, which, by the way, you can go check out my first preliminary forecast for the fall. This includes my temperature forecast, my precipitation forecast, and my overall forecast. I'll put it in a little iCard at the top right hand corner of your video. You can go click on that if you want to go check out my fall forecast if you haven't already. I'm going to be mentioning that forecast. Now, here's what it looks like in terms of the temperatures, and this is kind of my temperature forecast, and of course, the colder your temperatures, usually the earlier your frost is going to be, and then the warmer the temperatures, most likely the later the frost that you're going to experience is going to be. Now, I've made my own map on where I expect the earliest frost to be. Now, I expect over the northern plains, the Great Lakes, and also for the central part of the country, I expect an earlier than normal first frost. That's mainly because I expect cold air to be in place for parts of late August into parts of September, and that's when usually these areas do see their first frost as well. For parts of the Southeast, you saw that you were in intense cold, so that is why I am actually putting you guys in an earlier than normal first frost. Now it's going to be very close to your average, most likely, first frost, so it is going to be fairly it's not going to be too noticeable, but it should be slightly earlier than your normal, again, because it looks to be colder than normal over that region for this fall. That's why you should see most likely a first frost that is earlier than normal. Now, here's where I'm expecting it to be later than normal for much of the western United States, the southern United States, including parts of the southern half of Florida and into Texas, Oklahoma, basically westward from there, and then also for parts of the eastern Great Lakes and into parts of the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. I am expecting a later than normal first frost for these regions, and I actually even have another area where I'm expecting much later than normal conditions to occur in terms of your first frost, and that is for much of the western United States and then also into parts of the Southwest and the deep South for parts of southern Texas there, where I'm expecting much later than normal first frosts to occur over that region, and that would be by about 10 to 15 days later than your normal for much of these areas, and that is if you even see a frost. Again, parts of extreme southern Texas, extreme southern Arizona, extreme southern New Mexico, especially in the very southern regions, really don't see a frost too often. So you might not even see a frost. If you do see a frost, it is gonna most likely be much later than what you are typically used to. Now, that is gonna wrap it up for today's video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.